We haven't eaten a meal all day. We've basically just been, like I said, we had these Nature Box snacks, which are delicious. We've had, I think I had some gyoza earlier, a couple pieces. Just munch. That's it. That's all we've had time for.
Yeah.
It's hard, yeah.
It's exciting.
It's fun. It's been good.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining us, Vera.
Thank you
It's
for having
awesome
me.
to have you on. We were really hoping to get you and Charlie both in. People who we both had. I mean, me not so much as Matt. Obviously, you guys are pretty close from what he tells me. But I had you as a teacher for at least 1 year.
Yeah.
I can't remember if there was any more. I think it was just grade 10 English.
Yeah, I was going to say it's been a little while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I had a couple of years with you, 10 and 12 maybe.
Yeah, you almost had more than you anticipated.
Well, we had
but-
English honors. You didn't teach that for the first couple of years.
Yeah.
I don't think it was Mrs. Graham.
Yeah.
I had Mrs. Graham as well 1 year. She was the older one, right?
No, younger.
No.
Younger.
Younger.
You're probably thinking Miss Hassett.
Miss Hassett.
Mhm.
That is from my memory is so bad.
What was that intern teacher that everybody was so in love with?
Well, I don't know. I wasn't in
Intern?
love with her, so
That-
I don't remember.
I can't remember her
intern,
name.
what did she
went to
teach?
English. She was a pretty attractive lady.
They've been a couple of those.
A couple of them come in and out.
Yeah.
The only one I remember was the French socials teacher that
You know,
I had that
we
everybody
paid
liked.
attention.
La Roland.
I'm sure you did.
Madame Laroland was
Madame
good. She was our
Laroland.
French immersion for socials
I seen her
and
not
French.
too long ago at a pub.
Oh.
The minute I talked to her, I just recognized her.
She's at Walnut Grove now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you tell us where you are with your book?
You read a book?
Wrote
yeah,
a book.
I just
You wrote-
finished it.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited and pretty nervous all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But I ordered them yesterday.
Awesome.
So they should be here, ready for anybody who's crazy enough to want to read it.
I don't
in
think it's
about 2 weeks.
anybody that'll be crazy enough. I think a lot of people have interest. You wrote Devon's story,
Yeah.
and that's for people who don't know Vera and Devon. Devon passed away, unfortunately, 2008.
Yeah.
And,
Almost 8 years now.
You've been
Crazy.
writing this book since.
Well, yeah, I have been
2009 maybe?
writing since. And somewhere along the way, I started just sort of crying on paper. And then somewhere along the way, it started to take a form of its own. So I've been working in that form for probably 7 years.
Okay.
Rewritten it a couple times, done my master's in between, and then here
Devon's
Here
story,
it's done.
the title? Or?
Well, I titled it Living Out His String, Devon's Story.
Okay.
And when he got sick, he was 17,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted to write his story. But, of course, he was going through treatment, but more likely hanging out with his friends
Mhm.
and playing and trying to be a normal
Yeah.
17-year-old,
Was-
18-year-old as much as he could. And so he ran out of time, and he asked if I would do it. So I did.
It's good. It's good.
It was...
I'm excited. I'm
Yeah.
really excited to read it. We've been looking forward to this for quite a little while.
I
now.
know. I promised that I would write it, and then it's taken me what seems like forever.
Fair enough. Well, you'll have to keep us posted, and when you have your copies that you've ordered, we'll do our part to help you distribute them.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Are you going through a publisher at all, or are you
No,
just
I've
wanting
self-published.
to... Yeah.
Yeah. I decided that I couldn't take rejection.
Fair
So
enough.
if you go through a publisher, they'll
Somebody
tell you
says-
it's crap, and
Yeah.
I didn't really want
You just
anybody
wanted
to
to
say
get
that.
it done. Fair enough.
Did
So-
you use a secondary editor or anything, someone you knew to
Absolutely
go over?
every one of my friends that I could
Awesome.
possibly think of
They have,
that
Sorry.
started editing it. So I don't know if you remember Mr. Nelson.
Yep.
He read it for me. He was there sort of at the beginning, and he was my writing partner. So he's edited it for me. One of my students at SFU edited it for me. So I've had various people have a look at it. And, I mean, there's still
You
mistakes
never
in it. I know that.
asked me to read it over for editing.
I don't know how I missed that. You were away in
I'm just
Alberta,
kidding.
right?
Yeah. No.
Okay, that's
Oh,
what I'm
you
going to go with.
So yeah, that's something we're looking forward to.
Yeah.
And also, you are teaching student teachers currently.
I was. Right now, I'm back at the high school.
Oh.
So I'm kind of back home.
So are you back teaching classes, or
Yeah.
are you just working?
I'm back with being a normal, everyday teacher.
What caused that? Going back to that, was the program you were running finished, or was it?
The teachers that work with student teachers at SFU are just normal teachers, and they
Okay.
get seconded or borrowed for 2 years at a time.
Oh, okay.
And so my 2-year stint was up, and in Langley, we're the only district that allows their teachers to come back to their own school.
Okay.
Every other district, you get a job in your district when you're done at SFU, but
Was that
here-
part of why you took it, because you knew you'd be able to go back?
Well, partially, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I would have done it if I would have had to
Change
leave
of school.
permanently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah.
So you're happy to be back then?
I'm pretty happy to
How-
be back.
How many classes are you teaching right now?
7.
7. Wow.
7. Oh, no, that's not true. I lied to you. I have 7 in a year. Right at
least
the
you're
moment,
honest.
I'm teaching 3,
Three and then-
and 1 that I've had ever since September.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So, tell us about your experience with working with student teachers. How did you like that compared to regular classroom?
Well, I love both. I love my regular classroom. I love my job. But there was something about going to the university and having people think that I'm not crazy that was really quite affirming, because I'm not normal. So, and then just seeing teachers at the beginning of their career when they're super excited, maybe not totally realistic, maybe thinking that...
Dreamy and eager?
Well, sometimes eager, and sometimes thinking that the best way to teach is stand at the front of the room and just tell people things,
Mhm.
and discovering that that's not really the best way to
best way to
teach
go.
after all. So being excited, being new, and discovering that there are other ways to do it was pretty exciting.
Awesome.
Yeah, and working with a whole bunch of teachers that were so different, and I had a partner. I've never taught with anybody before in my life, so we shared a classroom all day long, my partners and I, and so it was really different and exciting.
Good experience. Would
Yeah.
you have the opportunity to do that again, or is that kind of a one-time curriculum?
They like to hire different people so that lots of teachers have
fresh
this opportunity
change.
to do this, yeah.
Fair enough.
But you never know. When I retire, maybe I could do it part-time, or I don't know.
Something with a second
Yeah,
home.
I'm happy to be back at Aldergrove, though,
Yeah.
for now.
Well,
so
super close to home too. Right?
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
commute at SFU was you know,
difficult getting over there.
Yeah, I wasn't so happy to be driving over that bridge every day.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate my commute now more than I knew. I was lucky.
You're
I just
walking?
didn't know
You're
how
almost, eh?
lucky. Well, I could walk. Yes, I talk myself into having reasons why I'm not walking, but yeah, I could walk.
Fair enough.
If I lose my keys, I can still get to work in time.
It's got to be pretty invigorating too, just working with those students, kind of giving you a bit, like even more of like a boost. Like, oh, I can't wait to get back and teach again.
Yeah, it was because I learned so much and really became more thoughtful about what I was doing, and so that it was great to come back. And
Did you learn any new ideas from
Oh,
young
yeah.
teachers?
well, I learn new ideas all the time, but yeah, they come in with, you have to be a little bit more thoughtful about what you're doing. I don't mean kind. I mean, why am I doing what I'm doing, and then explain it and come up with a better way. And yeah.
That's tough.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Quite
exciting at
quite
the
a
same
different
time.
group of. Do you get a lot of feedback from the students you were teaching to become teachers about their experiences in high school and things that they didn't like about teachers, or things that necessarily didn't work for them, or was it more you just kind of about what you had done over your career to try and give them ideas to move
Oh,
forward?
no. I mean, every teacher comes at it from their own experience. So if you don't recognize the experience that the student teacher had when they were students, positive and negative, then it's really hard for them to decide what's going to work with them and what's not going to work with them, what
Right.
they want to do, what they don't want to do.
Very personalized curriculum, kind of.
Yeah, especially for the first month or two, it's all about who you are as an individual and what you bring to your possible profession if you can make it through the program.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Something Ryan and I had discussed, we've been in constant discussion over the last couple months before getting started with this, and just the new age of kids, the different generation with their lives dealing with social media, growing up. When I was in high school, I mean, you might get picked on, ridiculed in school, and that obviously kids at a young age that affects them pretty greatly. And now there's all these different platforms that can have a vast effect on a kid's life. Do you see a lot of that in a classroom nowadays compared to before, or?
Yeah, well, I think I see more students that suffer from anxiety than I saw at the beginning of my career.
Right.
I might have seen kids that suffered from poverty or suffered from, home situations that were difficult, or suffered from learning disabilities or whatever it might have been. But I think now I'm seeing more kids finding it difficult to deal with existence.
I think there's a lot more factors kicking in right now to a young person's life that, not saying when we were young we didn't have lots to go through or whatever, but just the aspects that contribute to that. I just, I couldn't imagine sometimes being 14, 15 again and, have the potential of getting attacked from different directions if you made a mistake, or, there's lots of things in high school that you do to not necessarily great choices, but you're influenced by the people around you consistently every day. And
now they're online
forever.
A bad choice now is permanently.
Yeah, there's photos of
scarring
everything at any time. Yeah.
What's does the school district do anything in particular to work with those sorts of changes or differences?
Well, I have been away for a couple of years, so I'm not sure particularly what's new, but there's workshops for both teachers, parents, students, covering some of this area that are put on by the Langley District that parents have access to. We have all kinds of support teachers in the schools that their job is to try and make it easier for students to find a place and move through to adulthood.
Yeah.
But it can be pretty hard on them, and they're a bit addicted to their telephones.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. What kind of rules do you have nowadays in classrooms as far as, I think when I was in grade 11 or 12, I can't remember when I got my first phone. It might have been grade 12, but I don't think we were really texting and stuff yet.
It was just phone calls.
Just phone calls, or we were playing games on graphing calculators. I think that was
your technology. Yeah. Oh, Matt,
bowling and Snake, and that was kind of
Snake.
Put your calculator away. We'd be programming graphing calculators with formulas to cheat on tests. Like that was our advancement in society, right? Well, no, I'm pretty sure she knew. We got pretty busted for it.
I don't know anything about calculators, but
So what? How many times a day are you seeing that in the classroom where it's
phones?
Yeah.
Well, I do kind of go a little crazy. Should I say this in public? I do go a little crazy every once in a while about telephones.
Yeah.
Because if they're on their phone, or if there's a message coming through or something, it vibrates in their pocket or whatever, they're no longer thinking about what's happening in class. They're thinking about what was that, even if they're being good enough not to actually check it. It takes them mentally and emotionally out of your space. And so I do struggle with a little bit. And sometimes it's, parents, bosses that are
they haven't
texting
done any sort of a school-wide ban on phones in classrooms?
They tried at one time when phones just really started to get going. So, I want to even say when Devin was in grade 12, he didn't have a telephone. He got one when he was in the hospital. So that's 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. And most kids didn't have phones 8 years ago that they were actively attached to.
Right.
So it's all pretty new. So when they first came out, the schools were trying to make rules. This is a no phone zone and that kind of thing. No phones in the school, and it just became a nightmare. So instead of doing that way, the push has sort of been, the leading, the nudging has been more, how can we use the phone respectfully? How can we get the most out of it? Because they actually do serve a purpose.
Right.
Like a kid can look up the spelling of a word or the meaning.
Lab anymore? For typing essays or something, but as far as research projects, if you're sitting in class and you need to find, that's one thing too for tests, I suppose.
Oh yeah, it's made people are very creative about.
You should make a little phone board that has little slots where everyone's desk is. They have to come in put it up on
I
the
just
wall?
decided not to give tests.
You don't give tests anymore?
Not really, no.
Fair enough.
So that was my way of getting around
So what
that.
do you do instead of tests now? What's your...
Oh, now that's a whole new thing, isn't it? I give essays,
Yeah.
in-class essays. Sometimes they'll go home, they'll do rewrites at home. I have changed completely how I assess students.
Mm-hmm.
Completely different than when you guys were in school.
Are there other programs in the school? I mean, you have your, math, socials, English, sciences. Has the curriculums changed for, education towards, I know we used to have like career and personal planning, which was a complete joke of a class. I did the whole course in 2 hours after our grad and handed it in and got like an 88%, right? So
they do have planning classes, and students actually take a planning class, and
Right.
I'm supposed to know these things, but I think it's just grade 10,
Maybe.
question mark. I don't really know.
I guess the problem would be as we grow up and older, we kind of look back and say, I wish we'd learned more about politics or finance. But I mean, I guess when we're in grade 8 and 9, it's kind of hard to have the foresight to say,
care.
yeah,
That's
you
the
wouldn't
thing,
care.
right?
Even if it's not like you'd sit down in that class and be like, I'm really going to need this when I'm 21.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the thing I never really correlated until right now.
Did you just have an epiphany?
Well,
just this moment?
I think about that all the time. Like, does the curriculum change based on how new generation the world's kind of adapting to different things?
Yeah.
You see a ton more university programs that are specific to a job. The trades schools have gone, things at BCIT, whether they're short programs or 2-year programs. I feel when I was applying to universities or making a choice on what to do, it was a lot of, I'm going to go in a 4-year Bachelor of Science program and study kinesiology. That was, you're going to go through the rank and do your 4 years, and that'll be that. But there's so many different options for a direct career path now.
Yeah, that actually involves post-secondary.
Yeah.
I think in a lot of ways, you guys are have come to this age where you're realizing that the jobs that you thought existed when you were younger, the jobs that you thought about having, were just the surface of the possible jobs that were out there in the world. If you were asked when you were in grade 12, what are some careers that you can think of? Lawyer, doctor, teacher, lawyer, doctor, teacher,
Yeah.
and
I
but
didn't even think at all about trades.
yeah.
When
No,
was
I didn't
in school,
either.
High school, that wasn't even like something that you heard about.
I'd say 80% of the guys that are going to graduate from high school are going to be experiencing trades if they haven't already, right?
Which is why now you see electrical apprenticeships start in high school. There are
There
schools
was
that
the-
actually start
Well,
the
ours
pre-app
does, yeah.
programs and stuff like that for
There was
trades.
even out there in Alberta, like power engineering was such a huge thing, like overwhelming demand for it at Nate and Sate, and they started putting kids through the program in grade 11, and they do their hours in summer programs between grade 11 and after grade 12. And then you're graduating as an 18-year-old with a pretty serious ticket.
Yeah, a couple years on your apprenticeship program.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ACIT programs we have here. I don't know what they call it in
You guys,
Alberta.
oh, you guys still have them?
Yeah,
in-
yeah.
Out here?
Yeah.
Right on.
But the curriculum is changing again, so lots of changes coming up in the next year or two. Social studies, for instance, is supposed to start this September for grade 9, and
It's that earlier than...
Yeah, it was grade 10, right?
well, it's a whole new way of teaching that's not necessarily content driven. It's skills, it's interest, it's critical analysis of
I like it.
things. Yeah,
That's
it
awesome.
has huge
That's
potential to be fantastic.
Yeah.
A lot of ours, social studies, was just kind of history-based, right?
Well, just
Well, I think she's talking in general, the new curriculum, right?
yeah,
Like
the new curriculums in general
yeah.
are a little bit more student driven, and so
Which
we'll have to
is
see what happens.
What they're now starting to realize a lot is just some kids, they don't learn the way that it's like up until now, the way that it was just shown that you were taught. Like some kids have a harder time learning in the way. I mean, it's tough when you have a class of 30 and there's one person and you've got to try and spend time with every kid. You can't be so individual, right? And unfortunately, if the way the curriculum, the way it's being taught and the speed and everything, some kids, they can't keep up, they can't stay focused, whatever the case may be. I think that just plays a lot into, I'm starting to realize that now. Like I'm redoing my English 12, because I wanted to get into psychology, and I needed a higher grade because, I mean, I was one of those kids that just didn't, for me, English when I was in school, I didn't care about it when I was in high school. And now I love to write. It's weird though, because I guess for me now there's no more pressure, and even like when I do the tests for this course, it's like, holy crap, like I can't write nearly as good as I get aces on everything I do for the class, and then I go do the tests and it's like I have 2 hours to write basically 3 essays.
You don't
That's
have,
not going to happen.
You don't have
panic.
thesaurus.com to sit there. When we sit there and make posts, we sit there and read them together. And type this into thesaurus and see what. Something like that. Click that. Go from there. I think the one day it took us about 45 minutes just to actually get like 3 paragraphs done. But
well, it would be so wonderful if we had, first of all, an education system or people that were in it that really valued it. That would be a start. And then just allowed students to grow and develop at a pace that suited them, and without that baggage hanging over them. Oh, you have to do grade 10 English again, for instance. Let's just say that you're still working on some of the stuff that you should be able to do in grade 10 English, and you just need a little bit more time to get there. I mean, that would be pretty nice, but it may not work that way.
I'm curious. I mean, obviously the summer break for teachers, I'm sure is nice with the amount of workload, like we said, the amount of kids you have per class, all of that. But I've seen articles that say that that's detrimental to the actual learning process for the kids, because you've basically gone 9 months or whatever it is of learning all of this stuff, and then all of a sudden you're taking this break, and then you got to catch back up and try and get back on track again. And they feel that you could knock 1 or 2 years off of the actual 12-year schooling program by not having that summer break.
Do you ever see that changing? Maybe have like a 10-month.
I think it'll be long after I'm gone if that's going to happen. They have talked about year-long schooling and having longer holidays spaced through. Let me see if I can say that properly. Shorter summer.
Yeah.
Longer Christmas break, longer spring break maybe, so that those 2 months are divided throughout the year. Yeah, instead of they've talked about that. Fall break and I don't know what the research says about, what kids learn best at. I think if you're only going for sheer memorization, then kids are going to forget things. Yeah. If you're going for, I have a passion for learning, and I really am interested in this, I'm intrigued, then that's something that's not going to just happen in school. That's going to be something that's going to happen in your summer break. If kids stop reading in June, when they're smaller particularly, and start in September again, they're going to lose stuff. But if it becomes sort of this, a bit of joy in it, I don't, why would they stop, for instance?
It'd be tough. Another thing, perfect having world. Breaks like that too would be, a lot of kids catch up on a course or two in a summer school that doesn't necessarily hold them back in a year-round thing. Yeah. You're getting held back, and that's that kind of thing, right? It'd be pretty difficult to...
semester school it's easier to catch up if you do need some extra time.
Does Alder go on semesters now?
Yeah.
When did that change?
I don't know.
A few years, I think, because I know
it's been a while.
Travis I've been seeing him for 2 years, and it was semesters already when he was in the middle school still. So I think it's been at least 2 or 3 years.
Oh, longer than that.
Even longer.
Yeah.
Okay. So
longer than that. I just don't really know. I can't remember.
So we were touched
details.
on the phones and the issues so along that line, because of that, do you feel like it's harder to keep kids engaged now than it was before? Because they have that, like you were saying, that distraction in their pocket? Is it harder to keep them focused in class than it used to be, or is it the same as always? Kids just don't want to pay attention if they're not.
It's going to be one distraction or another.
Yeah, it's just replaced other things.
Okay.
They don't really write notes
Mm-hmm.
and try and pass them across the room like they used to.
Okay.
They don't have that, you know. I
Makes
kind of
sense.
miss the old note day.
Yeah,
Let me
you could
see
catch
what
the
you're
note.
writing. This is interesting.
We used to do the old cough game.
Yeah.
Who was the socials teacher that just hated us? Was it Miss White?
I'm not saying anything.
Miss White.
Is she
Wasn't
still there?
No, she was a librarian.
No.
She didn't hate
Oh,
you.
Miss White was a librarian.
No.
Oh no, that's right. Miss White did. I had law with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. No.
You guys.
She was a
No
nice
comment.
lady.
No
She was a
comment.
very nice.
She was
She was a good teacher, and she did give me a very high grade on a project once. So I can't.
She did.
I was
She
poorly influenced
was-
by a young Greg Moffat to engage in some coughing games, and we received
What you
proper
deserved.
punishment for distracting a classroom, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember. She was a good teacher. I'll give. She's
Oh,
smart.
she's
lady.
smart and aware.
She was very concerned with her class GPA. Though.
Would you have done high school differently if you could have? Looking back on it now?
Looking back,
I'm glad you didn't ask
I
me
don't
that
know.
question.
That's a hard question because I had a lot of fun in high school, and I guess maybe. No, I don't think so because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was just growing up. I was learning through my experiences. I think maybe if I had to change something, I would have taken a couple more classes in grade 11 and grade 12 because I had in grade 11 and grade 12 I had 4 of 8 classes
Right.
by the ends of each year. So I spent half of my day just playing video games.
Yeah, I had a
or
lot.
hanging out with my friends.
Mhm.
Or
I had a lot
whatever.
of breaks.
But it was
through grade
fun.
12
I
as well.
enjoyed that connection and that we had with all my buddies. Half the time we were just in the school doing stuff, right? So, yeah. I don't know. I
Yeah, it's
think
not
that
like you
would
guys
be-
were. I mean,
I still did well, and I guess I did accelerated classes in math, and I did French immersion, and then so that gave me that freedom to have those not as many classes when I got to grade 11 and grade 12. You know, struggled in English 100%.
do they have any sort of limits on how many spares you can have?
I'm not sure if they do or not. I think
Oh, I
that
guess
this
they
is your
don't.
opportunity to have free education.
Yeah.
Take stuff that's interesting. Take art. Go and take an extra PE class. Check out stuff that you may never have an opportunity to do again. Like I just
Do
think.
you think they do a poor job? The education system does a poor job of maybe not advertising, but promoting that you can take classes that interest you, like promoting to students not to take classes because you have to take the classes because you're interested in the stuff you're going to learn.
Oh no, I don't think so. I mean, I love my elective classes that I get to teach, writing and lit. I love them, and super enthusiastic about it. I really want them to run, but lit doesn't always run. I mean, this year because I wasn't there, so if they're not connecting it to another human being, they may not know what's involved. So I think that we all have as teachers our passions and what we want to do, and we get excited about them. But I think it was what you were saying before. Kids sometimes don't realize the greater implications of things. You want to
You
hang out
don't,
with your
yeah.
friends, and it's an important time to hang out with your friends and do those things and learn who you are and all that stuff. And they just don't see that happening in lit class, or they don't see that happening in an extra art class or an extra language or whatever it is. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's a tough call, kind of finding that balance for,
Yeah.
that I guess a lot of times you look back on it and think about like education development, but I mean, there's a lot more to psychological development and finding out who you are that you have to be taking into consideration when you're going
And I think
hard or not hard on students, right?
I think we maybe worry too much about. I mean, you need your education, but other than the basics, the up to grade 10, your English is your maths, your stuff like that. I'd like to see, I think it was a poem by Tupac, but it was talking about things that should be taught in school, and one of them was like, how to do your taxes.
It is taught.
Is
People
it now?
just yeah, it's always been taught. Did you sign up for it?
No.
It was probably
it was
Okay.
elective, but I mean, I think
So-
that should be something.
There's probably that
I think it's
CPP
plan. I
class
think
that
it's that
took.
planning class
Yeah.
for one thing.
Oh, okay.
So
Things
whether
like
y-
that, in investing or things that you're really gonna actually use pretty quickly out of school, but crap, I forgot where I was going with that. I was totally,
But they
I think what getting out of school once you have that base knowledge, like I would put myself in the category of I am way more excited to learn now than I was then, and I don't think that's a problem. Just because I'm 30 doesn't mean I shouldn't, continue learning. And I don't know, I feel like for some kids, like we said, learning differently, it's also learning at different periods of their life and actually starting to take interest in that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, well, it's a lifelong
it's
thing.
just-
If you start at end of grade 12, you're
Yeah.
in serious trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Getting-
But I think I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No,
because
not
I just
cutting.
realized that we're talking about kids that don't do things, maybe, don't take such advantage of opportunities. But there are so many kids at Aldergrove that work so hard at their studies and outside of school and doing extra things. They amaze me.
I can
And-
remember.
and
I
so-
can pinpoint those kids from my grade, the
Yeah.
ones that really were sticking with it and putting in the work day after day.
Yeah. And they're just wonderful. I mean, all of them are wonderful. Lots of fun.
Well, I'm sure it's.
Do you still have the couch?
They made me get rid of the couch because they said it was a fire hazard.
What?
All those books and papers I have in my room are not a fire hazard, but the couch is. I'm still a little ticked about the whole
That doesn't
couch
make Any
thing.
sense?
But I have a piano now.
I
You have a
love
piano.
Yeah, I rolled in a piano out of my horse trailer down the hall in the middle of the night one night, and it's now in my room.
in the middle of the
Nice.
night. How
Well, not quite middle of the night, 8
Oh.
o'clock.
How big is it? Like a
It's
regular?
an upright grand
How'd you get into the door?
piano.
How does it fit?
They
in
opened
class?
double wide. I put it in my horse trailer. The boys wheeled it down the hall for me. It was great.
The classroom doors open double wide.
Oh no,
So do you sing and teach at the same time?
I can't play the piano.
Oh. Do you have
Does
students that
anybody
do?
come in and
The kids play the piano. It's fantastic.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's engaging. It gets you firing.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, one of my friends lost her husband. It was her. She didn't lose him in the store or anything. He passed away of cancer, and he was the piano player. And she had to move out of her house. She didn't have a place for the piano. She was just going to leave it. And I said, "Well, I will take it to my classroom. Somebody will play it." And somebody every day comes in and plays that piano. It's
Have you even
fabulous.
sat down and tried to learn?
I can now do C chords
Okay.
if I really think about it. Stick
Remember
my tongue out a
Thomas
little bit.
Miller?
You do have an iPhone?
Yeah.
There's a piano app that would teach you the chords. You can just sit there and look at it. And
Man, I don't know.
there's apps for everything.
Technology.
It is. This technology is.
I just like it when people come and play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, but if you could sit there and learn how to sing songs about grammar,
Oh
it would
God.
give them a.
Yeah, that would be it. They'd be saying, "Can you retire now?" Like right this moment.
Do some alliteration
Holy
songs.
cow.
You know what I mean? It's easy to remember that way.
Yeah.
Studying to song. We used to do that in biology in university.
It's the only French I know came from a. I won't tell you what it is, but
Somebody playing piano somewhere, hey? Be good. You got anything else you want to cover there?
what else could we possibly talk about?
Well, we have a baseball team again in Aldergrove.
Yeah,
all the
I'm
guys
super
are back together.
excited.
We had to kind of skip a year or two there with having a
just
charity
1 year, I think.
1 year for having a charity tournament for Devon. Was it one or was it two?
We did 1 year.
Oh yeah, I could.
So we've done 7 years of base. Is that right? No, it must be 6 years of baseball. I don't know. And 1 year, we just had a party at the Legion, and so we've raised over $25,000 in Devon's name.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
he's got a little
amazing.
scrolling thing on the cancer clinic.
I think towards the summer when we're getting ready to fundraise, that'll be kind of our thing we do through the
Yeah,
year for
that'd be great.
the-
And we're hoping that maybe this year we'll do a tournament that's organized by the baseball team. I don't know if you know this yet.
Yeah, all
Baseball team, and then the parents are thinking maybe we'll do the party again in the same weekend.
same location.
Same location,
Because usually during
probably.
the tournament we had a house gathering or
Yeah,
everybody, the
Yeah.
Go Bransons there or whatever. Those
Yeah.
were always fantastic times, right?
yeah.
It's
pretty
nice.
important.
I mean, the
No, I don't thank you.
it was the baseball tournament was always good. If it was on a good weekend and
Yeah,
Do you like the
I
softball
loved
tournament?
doing it.
no, our hardball tournament.
Oh,
We had
okay.
decent
Yeah.
turnout. I feel like this year with the men's league too, especially, there's more teams in that than the junior teams.
The
So
prob-
it'd be-
Yeah, the problem is that scheduling them with only one field that's really usable
right.
for that league is a little bit. that was the frustration, or that was the difficulty that we came up with.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it was difficult to
We kinda
schedule
need it
enough
for
games.
A whole weekend, right?
Well, you need it for a whole weekend, and if you're going to have a full contingent of 8 teams, you need to have it Thursday and Friday as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so 1 or 2 years, we were playing some people out in Aldergrove and some in Langley at LSS,
Right.
and dividing it, which I didn't like. I like to have everybody
Everything there.
in the
Everybody-
same place, the spirit of it.
Everybody was hanging out,
Yeah.
watching.
Yeah, and Devon became a part, for me, when everybody was at the same field, more part of the game.
It was.
So
No, it was for everybody
that's-
as well. You
yeah.
know, it was
Yeah.
definitely a good time. It'd be very hopeful to have another one of those tournaments organized this year. I know all the guys are super, super excited that we're.
So is this for minor baseball or?
We
for
started
men, or-
after Devon.
Yeah,
had
we started
passed,
2009 was
we
our
had
first year.
a junior men's baseball team because all the
Okay.
guys had passed through midget and kind of had the option to
Right.
play men's
With
ball with
Jacob
Harder
and-
and them,
yeah.
and you know, there just wasn't enough room on that team for
Okay.
13 of us. So Nicole Branson and Mr. Vanette there were talking about the opportunity of this new junior men's league, and we obviously found enough guys pretty fast.
Mhm.
And you know, the team went through it for 5 years, and 5 or 6 years, I think.
And now they're grown up.
Yeah, and now they're everybody was past the age of being able to play junior men, so we had to wait for a transition year there. And the men's team went 30 plus. They gave us a men's team, and now here we are. There's about 19, 20 guys
That's
like,
awesome.
ready to go.
I can
so-
hardly wait to sit my butt down on that bench and
Bench
watch
right
baseball.
behind
I'm
that.
so excited.
Yeah, Justin gonna play?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
good.
He will be the baby, I think.
I
Maybe
think
the
there's a
youngest?
few
He won't
kids
like it.
his
I'm
age.
sorry I said that,
Yeah.
Justin.
Is he listening?
I don't know.
Hi, Justin. Just in case you're listening.
Really sorry I
But,
said that. He will be the youngest. Just phrase that differently.
Yeah, there will be some young guys coming out. I'm sure there's some other guys coming. Well, I guess with the junior men's team, you're not going to see too many,
Well, Justin's only 21.
but
so-
he's allowed to play with us.
Yeah.
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 It's not really a tough decision or anything, but
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be really fun, and I just love watching. I just love watching you guys play. It makes me happy.
fair enough.
I wouldn't mind playing slow pitch again. I played for a little bit.
We'll call you out for a spare this year there.
Not hardball.
Yeah.
No, there's no way. I'd just literally be watching the ball fly by me. I wouldn't even timing wise. There's no chance. But I don't know. I like playing slow pitch. It's fun. Like, it's obviously not athletically at the same level, but I don't
Still
know.
getting
I
out
enjoy
there,
it.
You know, it's fun to
socializing,
get
having
out
a
there.
good time.
Friends,
That's
and
exactly-
it's in the summertime. You're outside.
Mhm.
You don't got to take it too seriously. Obviously, there's a lot of teams that do, and those are the least fun ones to play against. But, you know, it's
We had a pretty good slow pitch team last year. There's 4 or 5 people that played baseball at
Mhm.
competitive levels, and then the Aldergrove slow pitch league. You get a few teams that just like to drink, or
yeah. If you can, well, the thing is, if you can hit in slow pitch, like if you come from a baseball background, it's way too easy. It seems like I've been watching guys like Harder and that who come and play. It's like every time the ball is just
Yeah, not even a challenge.
no.
Yeah.
No, I could see how that wouldn't even really be fun for some guys, right?
yeah,
But
definitely.
All right, are you done with me?
I think we're
Thank you.
covered
More
some,
questions?
some ground. I
Thank
don't
you
know.
so much.
Yeah, we're just waiting for our next guest, Marco Mattiazzi. He's on his way. Should be here in about 10 minutes. Maybe we'll take a
okay.
little break and we'll chime in a little earlier than 7 when he gets here,
Mhm.
and then we can carry on.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Thanks so
Get a-
much for
get a
having me.
song
It was really,
tuned up here.
really kind of fun.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate you.
You
coming
ask me
on.
questions I
That's
don't know
fun.
the answer to, so that's always
Ah.
exciting.
It's always just a discussion. There's no answers. There's no right answers.
Yeah, it's just
Put whatever's on you feel on the paper.
Right, don't think so much. Just do
put
it.
it on paper.
Yeah, stop thinking.
okay. Well, thanks
All right.
again for
Thank you.
Just, we'll be out there.